Yeah, but if anybody knows how to come back from a concussion,
This is
be
true.
the guy who's had about 6 of them.
Hello world and welcome back to Gridiron Gamble, the only podcast that puts its money where its mouth is. I'm your host, Rich Ron, and I'm joined by the entire collective, the Disciple, Brett Colson, Donnie, DP Peters, and the resident moose himself, Mo Nawara. A terrible week for the collective. 1-4 in CIRCA Sports Million. 2 people did 2 and 3. That was Mo and I, and Donnie and Brett went 1 and 4. But we are here to pick up the pieces and once again crawl back on our hands and knees to 500 in this contest. If you're watching this on YouTube and you see me wearing my glasses, as Mo said on my Napoleon nerd shit, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Listeners, rate and review on your podcatcher of choice. A very boring one this week. 5 stars only. I literally couldn't find any member of the Vikings or the Rams who was 5 stars other than one of the greatest high school quarterback prospects of all time, Matthew Stafford. Is there anybody else that would even come to mind on these two teams? I was looking through O-linemen.
Jared Verse? I don't know.
No, Verse was like 0 stars.
Verse, I think the thing is, you won't find anyone on the Rams that's 5-star because they don't believe in athleticism. They have to have the least 5 stars in the league. All they care about is college production.
Yeah,
and whether you fit their system.
Yeah, just look at Puka and Cooper, right? Just guys that crushed in college that had no athletic pedigree come in and dominate the league. So struggled with
what was Jefferson, 4-star?
5 stars there. Ooh, I didn't look up Justin Jefferson. That was one of those where it seemed too obvious, so I didn't go to it. But I got so beaten down, I just finally went with Stafford. Justin Jefferson, Mo, the pride of Destrian, Louisiana, class of 2017. How many stars for Justin Jefferson?
I think 4, but you're making me think it's 3.
5.22 star.
Wow.
I am blown away by that. Get it together. Whoever does rivals in the state of Louisiana, get it together.
Did he start at LSU?
I have no idea. I don't.
I mean, he must have if he is on their list for 2017, right?
Right, because by the time that Burrow team came, it wasn't too far apart. Okay, week 8. This week is tough. This is a week where there are a lot of big favorites, and if you're just doing computer modeling, those models will probably tell you to bet those dogs, but I'm not sure how good those computers are going to be at regressing to the fact that some of these teams are absolute dog shit. So really tough week. I'm interested to dig into some of these specific matchups with these bad teams. But we start in a game with one of the better teams in the league. That is the Houston Texans, who play host to the Indianapolis Colts. Come on, guys. Angry bulls and angry horses definitely are making those sounds. The Texans are 5-point favorites in the contest, 6-point favorites in real life. And this is a game with great divide amongst the collective because it is in every member of the collective's top 5, but it is a split contest. And we'll start with Brett, who has the highest opinion on this game, and it's on Anthony Richardson, Shane Steichen, and Indy.
Yeah, I love this spot for the Colts. Divisional game, getting points with arguably the most volatile quarterback in the universe, although Jameis might stake claim to that now that he's a starting quarterback again. But with all these injuries on the Texans defense right now, I think Richardson can find success against the Texans. Like, rely on the run game with Jonathan Taylor back this week, take some shots downfield. Give me the Colts, whose stock has plummeted. Money bet line this week. Look at all these injuries on this Texans defense too. I think they're going to find success with Steichen leading the charge here. And I like Indy quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of this. The most encouraging thing that I saw from Indy last week is that Anthony Richardson had the most rushes in his entire NFL career at 14. 7 of them were designed running plays. Shane Steichen finally, rule of ODB, stopped being stubborn and realized that if you were going to run an offense with Anthony Richardson, who is not a fully developed passer yet and may never be in this league, that you got to keep the ball on the ground and run the ball. So very happy to see that out of Indianapolis. And this is a Texans team who, just like last week, the spine of the defense is very injured. Azeez Al-Shaair did not play last week, hasn't practiced this week. Jimmy Ward hasn't practiced this week. So there's going to be running opportunities available for this Colts offense. Keep this game tighter. I think under 46 is a good look as well. And division game, give me the Colts. By Mo's looks, you can tell, and I obviously said off the top, everybody has this in their top 5. Mo, you've been stumping for the Texans all season, competing with Super Bowl contenders, and you continue to have them this week.
Has that ever happened before? Split game all top 5?
I think so, but yeah, very rare.
I mean, I bet the Texans. You look back at week 1, guys, the Texans were -3 in Indy. What has Indy shown us that they're better than we thought preseason? The Texans basically are what everybody expected. They're 5-2. They've had some good games. They've had a couple mediocre games. I think the Texans are right about where everybody expected, and Indy stinks. I don't care if they're 4-3. They stink, guys. They got outgained by the corpse of the Miami Dolphins last week. And you want to sit here and tell me you're happy about Anthony Richardson running? I was watching some of that game because I had the under, so I was locked in every time that game came on the TV on the red zone. Guys, every single third down, Anthony Richardson tried to scramble for it. He never, ever, ever tried to complete a pass on third down. That is not going to work in pro football. It's not. That's why they had a 16-10. They got lucky to win that game. They basically won because of 2 fumbles for Miami inside the 20. I mean, they probably should have lost to Miami at home, guys. They're going on the road against a good team now, and let me tell you what the Colts defense is going to do, guys. They're going to sit back in their soft 3-deep Gus Bradley zone, not put any pressure on CJ Stroud, and he's going to find guys. That's what every time. The only time I've ever seen CJ Stroud struggle is when people get in his face. His footwork can get a little bad. He tries to throw off his back foot. He doesn't get any mustard on the ball. He's just going to be fine. He won't be under any pressure against this soft defense. This is Texans by 7.
Wow. I will say DeForest Buckner for the Colts injury report is the most interesting look here. He has returned to practice in full capacity today, coming off IR with that ankle injury. So he's big when it comes to internal pressure for the Colts, who have struggled 16 so far in the league. DP, put a cap on this contest.
Anthony Richardson's horrible. I mean, what do you want me to say?
He was 10 of 24 last week.
What was Stroud last week?
I get it. Yeah, Stroud was a crisp 80 yards in the air.
Okay, but he's had good games. Anthony Richardson hasn't.
Stroud doesn't need to throw when Mixon's running for 380 yards or whatever the hell he ran for.
But he does, though. This is the issue, is that this idiot Slowick thinks that you can just plunge forward with Joe Mixon. But no, you need to actually have a modern offense in order to have success.
And if it's needed, do you trust Stroud or are you going to trust Anthony Richardson? I mean, come on.
Of course, under that guise,
so
of course
cares?
I'm going to trust CJ Stroud. But I don't need Anthony Richardson to cover 5 points. CJ Stroud has to do so without his best weapon by a country mile, still with Nico Collins. We move on to the Pacific Northwest, where Brett's beloved
The Bills make me wanna
take on my coming back to my heart Seattle Seahawks. I said last week I was folding my priors. They go out and they win a pro football game by 3 touchdowns. So I guess I'm back in on the Seattle Seahawks, who are now 3-point underdogs at home, hosting the Buffalo Bills, who, let's be honest, have really feasted on a very easy schedule thus far. 23rd in DVOA. And one of the better teams in that was the Jets, absolutely taking a dump on the field. We saw them crush our Tennessee Titans last week. That's right, I should say Donnie's specifically Tennessee Titans last week. He tried to put his guy on the card again, and the Titans said, we're putting Mason Rudolph in, and that didn't work for us either. Yeah, I just think that Buffalo minus 4.5 on a neutral field is a bit rich for a passing attack as potent as Seattle's. And I'm going to say this is the second week in a row I've kind of shit on my guy, but I think way too much is being put into this DK Metcalf injury because this guy in critical moments has been soft as puppy shit this season. So I don't think he's as meaningful to the number as some will make it out to be. My biggest qualm with this game with regards to the contest is that Seattle might be popular in this spot, getting the full field goal, but I definitely think Seattle is the right side. Brett, you are the highest on your Buffalo Bills in the middle of your card.
Yeah, I just think this is a good spot for the Bills. Good matchup for them. I don't know. Like, the one thing the Bills do well on defense, well, they have two very good cover corners, but they're very good up front, getting after the quarterback. And this Seattle offensive line is a problem. So I can see the Bills finding ways to get at Geno Smith. And yeah, if DK's out, that's a I don't know how Seattle gets through that. I don't know how they move the football if they don't have DK Metcalf. So that's why I ended up on the Bills here.
Don't besmirch the legend that is Jake Bobo. Okay, my guy getting in on,
he might
on
actually
3 wide
catch the
receiver
ball.
sets. That's what I mean. DK with these just horrific drops doesn't know where his feet is. You know who's not going to do that? It's Jake Bobo. First one in, last one out. Deceptively fast.
Lunch pail type.
That's right. Hard hat lunch pail. All right, let's go to my beloved. Somehow this putrid 2-5 football team are touchdown favorites traveling to New England to take on Donnie's beloved New England Patriots. And as Donnie knows, because he's been tuned into WEI every single day this week, Gerard Mayo has called this team soft. And in contrast, Bill Belichick has said this team isn't soft. I coached them last year, but as our guy M. Stima put in the Discord, all of their good players on defense are either hurt, on IR, or on different teams right now. So Bill is victory lapping with players that aren't even on the pitch right now. By the way, Bill, you won 4 games last year, so not sure how much victory lapping we should be doing, my guy. I'm on the Pats here. This Jets injury report is terrifying, specifically AVT. Looks like it's more management. He finished the game, or no, he came out of the game last week, but he has a chance to play, but history of injuries with AVT, he's a bit soft also, California guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he missed this game. Still going to be no Ashton Davis, still going to be no Tony Adams, and a Patriots offense with Drake May that is willing to push the ball down the field. Those safety injuries are going to matter more than most. Everyone's going to think must win, quadruple circled for the Jets, keep the season on track. Devontae Adams making speeches, but I think New England has the firepower to keep this game close and even make this a squeaky bum game if the Jets come out and lay a dump again. Brett, you've got the Jets in the middle of your 15, so pick up the shield for Gangrene.
The Pats might have the firepower, but do they have the fire? I don't. Are they gonna play for this guy? Like,
shouldn't they be pissed? Shouldn't they be pissed that this guy just called them soft?
I guess.
No, you get pissed. You get pissed when Dan Campbell calls you soft. Okay, you don't get pissed when this scrub calls you soft. I mean, seriously, they should not play so he gets his ass fired.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know how the team's going to react to this. So I have 2 confidence points on the Jets here. I don't have a huge lean either way. I think this is a very fair line, but I question what kind of Patriots performance we're going to get after what this coach has been saying about these guys.
Brett, you have 2 confidence points. It's the most confidence points anybody has on this game because everybody else has a big old donut in confidence points on this contest. How could you lay a touchdown on the road with the Jets How could you be betting the Patriots coming back from London against a team that matches up as well as them and already destroyed them as the Jets? So just a gross game that obviously none of us want a part of. Short split games. Off to the Lone Wolves, where Brett has got a trio and is trying to keep his record strong. Brett, a winning record on the season, 9-8 with his Lone Wolves. His last winning week was week 6, 1-0. He had a 2-0 week in week 5. This week he's got a trio, including one in his top 5. As I reach for the sounder, it's the grossest pick of the week, and it's unsurprising that Brett went and did this because Dandy Andy Dalton went and got into a car accident and sprained his thumb, which means Bryce Young returns to pro football to start on the road against the Denver Broncos coming off of extra rest. And yet, Brett is sprinting to the window and taking the 9.5 points with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, listen. The Panthers are awful. We know this. Probably the worst defense in the NFL. And with Bryce Young, they have been the worst offense in the NFL this year. But Bo Nix laying this kind of number, it's up to 10.5 now. You are relying on a massive performance from the defense. And of course, you could get that against the Panthers. But to cover this number, what does this defense have to do? Like, the offense is 29th in pass success rate, 26th in pass offense DVOA. They've been able to run the football effectively, yes. But how good do we feel about a team like this laying double digits? Rich, you might be right. Like, maybe the books haven't accounted for how bad some of these teams are. Carolina's putrid, but man, this is a lot of points to lay for a lousy offense. And I don't see anybody clicking Carolina here, especially if this is sitting 10.5 on Saturday. So I think this is a pretty good contest play. That, I mean, who's clicking Carolina?
Nobody is going to submit a card with Bryce Young on it. That being said, we just saw Bo Nix play like an absolute jackass on the road and win by infinity. So why can't he do it at the friendly confines at altitude against a much worse team in the Carolina Panthers? Mo, you've been stumping for the Broncos all year. You've got them the highest, bubbling your top 5.
Yeah, I would consider betting the Broncos under 10. I really would. I think it should be on the other side. I mean, dude. Brett's asking, well, what does the defense have to do? Well, the same thing every defense does to Bryce Young. Has Bryce Young led a touchdown drive this year? Like, this is an honest question. I do not know if this has happened. And then you look at this Carolina injury report. Dude, every professional player that's like still above replacement level on the team is hurt. Deontay Johnson has not practiced. He is by far their best player on offense. Skill player, anyway. I guess Chuba Hubbard's solid, but he just doesn't have the impact that Deontay Johnson has, obviously, just positionally. And then, who else? There was Dane Jackson, cornerback. Like, every decent player is gone from this team. Like, Nick Scott, he's a former, I don't think he's like good, but he used to start for the Rams. I mean, this is crazy, dude. We've never seen a defense that was entire. Like, the Panthers might be a study of what a replacement level defense is. They let Washington do whatever they wanted with a backup quarterback. I mean, they could have scored 60 if they wanted to.
I don't know what was scarier about that game. That our guy Mariota was marching, or that the Carolina offense couldn't get right against the Washington Commanders defense. I don't know what was more troubling. This team might be worse than the 0-16 Browns. They were just fortunate enough to play the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024.
I mean, listen, Bryce did have a 100% completion rate last week, so.
Wasn't it for like -4 yards?
Yeah, it was. Yes. He did have negative passing yards. That's the thing that we go much further down Brett's card to coin flip territory, where he is laying the 2.5 points with Joe Cool and the Bengals as they host the Philadelphia Eagles. Brett, tell us why you're on the Bengals in this contest.
I don't have much here. I thought this is a very fair line. 2 good teams. I'm excited to watch this football game. I think Burrow can pick apart this Philly secondary. That's really just better passing offense in a game where there should be a lot of offense. I think the Bengals can cover this.
So I absolutely love the Philadelphia Eagles this week. I think this should be way closer to pick than it is. This Bengals defense, specifically against the run, is an absolute sieve. And there's no team that you don't want to see when you're bad at defending the run than Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, who can just RPO you to absolute death. And then, if they're struggling at all at getting yards, they get to throw to Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown against these Bengals corners, who, like the Eagles, can't cover anybody. So I think this game should be, I mean, whatever standard HFA is, I guess 1.5. So we're getting a free point here. And the fact that it's short of a field goal, I think people love Cincinnati. They are the 8th highest selected team in terms of leverage thus far in the contest. I think people love Joe Burrow, like our guy, ODB. And I think this is a spot to get a slightly better football team that just matches up extremely well against the Bengals at a modicum of leverage. Mo, you're making some faces over there. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, honestly, the reason I agree with a lot of what Brett said, that I think it is probably a close game against, it's tough one to say there's a big edge one way or the other at 2.5. But honestly, the reason I'm landing on Eagles, which I had them kind of high, but I had like an entire coin flip tier of like 10 games, the Donnie special this week. But dude, it's just, when do we get concerned about how the Bengals have looked against these awful teams? They got outgained by the Browns. I mean, I squeaked by the Giants. I don't know, man. I think we should maybe be a little bit more concerned than I think the discourse has been on the Bengals so far. People don't seem to be that worried. They're just looking at the bottom line results. Oh, they've won, 2 games in a row or whatever it was, and they're back in the playoff hunt. But they do not look like a good football team. But that being said, everyone is bad, so I still rank them like 10th or something this week.
Both of these teams, when they've had success, have had it against bad teams. The Bengals have the 30th schedule per DVOA. The Eagles the 25th. What have killed the Eagles thus far are turnovers, being 27th in turnover EPA. But I don't see Cincy having the horses to put the Eagles in the situations where they're turning the ball over. So I think the Eagles can stay clean. And I think the Eagles, when they are clean, are the team that people project them to be. I think the Bengals, even when they've been clean, haven't, as you said, Mo, reached that potential that we assigned to them before the season started. We'll go to Donnie, who has a very interesting one in his top 5 as he is laying the points. This is a fake line, by the way. Chiefs minus 8.5, traveling to Las Vegas. This is 10 everywhere. And they're just the fakest line in the contest of 8.5. DP, you've got the Chiefs in your top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be 14 for all I care. I mean, how are the Raiders going to score any points? Let's be serious. The Chiefs' defense is amazing. The Raiders absolutely suck. They are so freaking bad. How long are they going to keep this coach around for? I mean, seriously. Did we not call that this would happen
at one time? That's the question.
I mean,
we did call this.
We're going to roll here. Whatever.
We did call this last year that they were going to stump for this idiot coach. And then the two people that were stumping the hardest, one demanded a trade and now is on the other side of the country. And the other is Max Crosby, who keeps saying these like very wishy-washy statements about not wanting to be part of a rebuild, which, I mean, I understand. Nobody that is that good and is playing that hard in murder ball wants to be part of an organization as hapless as the Las Vegas Raiders. Mo, you've got the opposing side in your top 5 taking the points with the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's so gross. Part of it though is a contest play. Dude, people has been hammering the Chiefs the last couple weeks and they're covering. So aren't they just going to go right back to the well with the Chiefs against a team that everybody saw literally like could not go, they couldn't score a touchdown on the Rams. And if they were not kicking field goals, then they were turning the ball over. I mean, this Raiders offense is dreadful. Everyone is going to be saying the exact same thing Donnie said, but I kind of think, I don't know. So, okay, one thing that I'm scared of is that the Chiefs are going to be motivated to run up the score. That's my big fear here because of the offseason trash talk and then
Kermit the Frog smoking cigars.
And then that fake Christmas game last week where they completely no-showed. That is my only worry here because when I look at the way the Chiefs play football, not in a way that covers 10 points. This is not the 2018 Chiefs. They're going to come out and try to win 17-10, just like they did against the Chargers. This is probably going to be a workmanlike 7-point win. And Jacoby Myers is back against a Chiefs secondary, guys, that has taken some hits. I am starting to get concerned about this secondary. Jalen Watson went down last week. He is just a fine corner. He is not an impactful corner. But let me tell you guys, the people that they brought in were two guys I have never heard of. And I watch every snap of Chiefs football every year, and I don't know who these guys are. I looked at the depth chart, and Jalen Watson is backed up by 2 undrafted free agents. I know that the Chiefs have a true talent for coaching up DBs. It shows up year after year, but it still usually takes some time. There's usually rocky moments at the beginning. I think there could be some rocky moments here against Brock Bowers and, whoever is backing up, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers against whoever is backing up Jalen Watson and Nick Bolton, who is a tremendous blitzer and good in run support, but he is not good in coverage. So Brock Bowers is going to find some space here. I think the Raiders can cover this.
Quick thoughts on acquiring DeAndre Hopkins. How much of an impact will he have? Maybe not this week, but long-term for KC.
I like what Cleve TA tweeted. It's like picking up a 3-and-D guy in the NBA. Like he's going to be solid and helpful. He's not going to move the needle in a major way, but the Chiefs needed professional pass catchers. I mean, this is getting pretty bad. So I welcome the move for sure.
We move further down Donnie's card to the bottom where he is taking the 4 points with the Dallas Cowboys as they travel to San Francisco to take on the Niners, a game that is octuple circled for Dallas from last year when they were completely drubbed in primetime.
Last year and the year before and the year before that.
I mean, I don't have much here. I flipped a coin. It's my number 3 pick. So, whatever.
Yeah, I am somehow the highest on this game on San Francisco, and I just think it's a spot to buy the Niners off of a loss, off of a game where Brock Purdy turned the ball over multiple times in a spot where people might be starting to question the Niners. You've got Ayuk shredding his knee. You've got Debo with pneumonia. I think this is a spot where a lot of people are just going to be jumping off of the San Francisco 49ers ship for one reason or another. And yet you have to respect the type of institutional stability that this team has, that Kyle Shanahan will have on Sunday. Something Pearsall is injured, but he might be a fine replacement if he's getting to go. Jawan Jennings also banged up, but I just trust these guys if they're out there to get open enough for Kyle Shanahan to scheme it up and for this offense to have success against a Dallas team who they're kind of in no man's land right now. I mean, they're begging for Micah Parsons to come back, but I don't know. I don't know why they just did. Parsons didn't go on IR, right? Like they were just hoping that this would be a couple week thing. He has yet to practice this week, so I guess there's always an outside chance that he could go, but I don't think that's likely. And I don't see where any kind of positive momentum is going to come for this Cowboys team. The only thing I can say for them is that they've played a tough schedule thus far, 9th in DVOA. They played tough road games like at Pittsburgh, which they were able to pull out of their keister. But yeah, I'm just buying a Niners team that I think a lot of people will be selling this week. That said, I don't think the Cowboys will be popular, so I did not put this in my top 5.
Let me just say,
right. Go for it.
The plus 500 didn't come home. I thought Dallas was going to be your top play.
Ew, no. That's disgusting.
You finally folded then. Rule of ODB. Don't be stubborn.
Don't be stubborn. Well, I'm going to be stubborn on this one. I was very surprised to see that I was the only one who was selling the Washington, formerly racial slurs, formerly football team, now commies, off of a 100-point win with their backup quarterback. I thought I was the only one. I thought people would join me in saying that wasn't real. They didn't play a pro football team. Now might be the chance to take a team coming off the bye, whose offense is starting to get it together. Keenan Allen very much matters for this Bears offense. And a Bears defense that has played extremely well thus far and now gets to play a backup quarterback in Marcus Mariota, who has proven time and time again that he is maybe at the threshold that is needed to play quarterback in this league. Laying 2.5 on the road with Caleb Williams and company is certainly not something I'm rushing to the window to do. So that is why it's not in my top 5. But Mo, I do not have the intestinal fortitude that you do to not only click the commies, but put them in your top 5.
Isn't this a tremendous contest play? I mean, I have other games I'm more confident in, but guys, when Jaden Daniels is ruled out, this line is going to be 3 or 3.5. And it's going to be sitting at 2.5 in the contest. Everyone's going to take the Bears. I still think Washington should be favored, guys. What you said, like you're saying, like acting like the market is giving them credit for that 40-point win against. They're not. That's why they're underdogs here at home. Dude.
Well, so you're telling me that the difference between Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota is only 4 points?
Why couldn't that be a thing? Why? What if Washington is just a pretty good, well-coached team? Like, we might have to accept that this is reality, guys. It might not just be Jaden Daniels making magic happen every week. This might just be a pretty good football team. And then you look at the Bears, everything you just said about the Bears, look who they've played. It's the worst of the worst, man.
Washington hasn't
Panthers.
been much. Washington hasn't been much better. Directly coming off of playing the Carolina Panthers.
Well, they marched on the Ravens. What do you mean? This is a good team. They haven't shown us one shred of evidence that they're not good. Not one. And they're home underdogs against a team that hasn't beaten anybody decent.
But with an idiot at quarterback, who there's plenty of tape for the other side to watch, and then make sure that they're planning for this idiot to be playing. I think your angle about leverage is very fair. That when this is I thought it was a given that Jaden Daniels was not going to play. But if you are correct and this line does go to 3, then Washington will be in a tremendous spot because, yeah, I think this game is way closer than people. You said this in our group chat perfectly last week when some of the games came out that people were acting like the final scores had already been announced by the way that they were picking some of these games last week. And if that's the case again, then for full leverage, I'm certainly okay with commies. My other one, I'm laying all the points. This one is, this is just Denver, Carolina again to me, because I'm laying the 7.5 with Los Angeles against the New Orleans Saints. Guys, it's Spencer Rattler throwing to Bub Means. In 2024, at some point, this has to matter. It mattered last week against the Broncos, and that was at home. in the friendly confines of the Mercedes-Benz Dome. What's going to happen? Granted, it's not going to be a raucous environment in SoFi, but when they have to travel all the way across the country against a very well-disciplined Harbaugh team and have to do it on the road, I don't think it's going to work out well, you guys. And I don't see many opportunities for the Saints to put up points. Yes, I know all of the concerns about scoring points. I watched Monday night where they played a rock fight against the Arizona Cardinals, but can the Saints get to 7 points? I don't know. Thus, I have to lay the points with the Chargers. DP, you've got Bub Means, Spencer Rattler, and the New Orleans Saints in your top 5.
First of all, it's the Caesars Superdome, buddy. Get it right. Okay. I don't think that this Chargers team is worth laying 7.5. I mean, the Broncos at least have an amazing defense.
It's Bub Means. WR1.
Hey, hang on.
Whatever.
Hang on. Olave's back.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say
calm
that.
down.
Is he back? I legitimately didn't know that.
I don't care who's back. I don't think that the Chargers should be laying 7.5. Not with the style of football that they play. I mean, what?
I will say, so the RotoWire injury report hasn't pulled for New Orleans. I'm looking at my sheet right now. The one injury that matters the most this week, Brett, I know you're excited. I know this is maybe why you have it in your top 5. It's Taysom week. Taysom in a game like this, where you've got Spencer Rattler and a total of 41.5, and you're getting 7.5 points. Taysom Hill matters.
Yeah, and Rattler's a mess, but he's only going to continue to feel more comfortable in this offense every week. And it's the Saints are so much healthier now. Olave, Hill, Ruiz, all full at practice on Thursday. So I love the Saints in this spot. The Chargers just don't have the offense to be paying north of 7. They've got injuries all over the place. I don't
Is
I
there
don't know
going
how
to be
you
a professional receiver on the field for the Chargers?
I don't know.
What is this?
They barely have any to start with.
Even Will Dissly. Will Dissly who had 100 targets on Monday.
He had
as a
9
TNT.
targets. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. We go to Mo, who has a duo as well, and he's laying all the points, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 6-point favorites at home against the G-Men.
This was a theme for me. I laid many points this week. I think this was a record number of points. And I guess we can start with this one. I thought you were going to go the other way. This is just a style of play thing. I mean, do I want to actually bet real dollars on Russell Wilson to have 2 good games in a row? Do I want to buy after he just was actually great on national TV, at least for a half? No, of course not. But what about this Steelers pass rush, man? The Giants can't protect their passer. The Eagles just walked in, sacked Daniel Jones 8 times or something, and then walked out with the easiest W of the season. Why can't the Steelers do the same thing? I don't know. Would I actually bet on it? No, but that is terrifying to me. Andrew Thomas might be the MVP of the NFL, guys. I mean, the New York Giants went from a passable NFL offense to they could not score a point on an Eagles team that has not exactly crushed it on defense this year.
There are not many shows this week. This may be one of one where Andrew Thomas MVP discussion is brought up. Yeah, this is just one. It's leverage. Steelers are the 5th most popular team in the contest in terms of net picks. Moved from 4 to 6 based on what? What did we learn last week that changed our opinion of these two teams? Right? We know what the Giants are. We know what the Steelers are. These are just 2 free points that they're giving us that we get to take with the G-Men here. And yeah, I definitely do not love. This is rule of trenches on that side as well. But it just seems like a spot where you have to sell Russell Wilson off of that performance. Although it is predictive that Russell Wilson throws moonballs and sometimes they're completed. And if you're going to throw reckless moonballs, it's nice to have a guy like George Pickens who is going to be very physical at the stem of his route and go up and catch go balls. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers can replicate that, but it's something that just I have to fold because that's just something that, I just can't bring myself to buy back in after that performance. DP, you were like me. And you also have the G-Men in your top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I also can't fold Najee Harris looking like he did. He ran for over 100 yards. I don't really believe in that guy. I also just don't generally believe in the Steelers to continue to put up 30 points.
You're team voodoo. You love the Steelers. I was shocked to see
but laying 6 points? Yeah, you love the Steelers when they're dogs. Or they're laying like 2 points. And, Tomlin can run out there with the whole, they don't believe in us speech. What's he going to say? They don't believe in us, but we're 6-point favorites. Yeah, that ain't going to work here. Come on. I mean, I'm obviously petrified of what Watt can do to Daniel Jones. I mean, yes, that is scary as all hell. But, can you cook something up, Dayball? Figure it out. Just figure it out, please. Because
TJ Watt, the greatest player at forcing fumbles against Daniel Jones, the absolute biggest idiot at holding the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's petrifying, but come on. That's also what everyone's just going to see and say and go with, right? I mean...
Yeah, exactly. The stories coming out of Mike Tomlin making the decision, honestly... I love the guy for it. He had the decision. He was the one guy in the building that made the decision. Nobody told him otherwise, and it worked out. I don't think Justin Fields wins that game if he's at quarterback, but Russell Wilson did. So good for Mike Tomlin. The final lone wolf, the one that Mo thought I was going to bring up first, it's too low, Mo. I go in order of ranking. So this is way at the bottom.
They were both low. All my lone wolves are low every week. So I just want you guys to tell me, please tell me that you had absolutely no confidence in clicking the Titans. I'm going to put this one on you guys. And you guys tell me if you had any confidence clicking the Titans.
You're not looking at anybody that had confidence. DP had the highest opinion on the Tennessee Titans.
It's just kind of a sell job. I mean, all I hear is that the Lions are the best team in the league. Before it was the NFC, before they were, top 2 team, whatever, then they were best in the NFC. Now they're just best in the league, hands down. That's what everyone's saying. They're going out there, they're blowing doors. The Titans, on the other hand, are just completely just melting in the second half in Buffalo. I feel like that's all anyone is saying, so I'm going to sell a little bit of that. I mean, going into last week, everyone was like, this is Goff against this defense. Goff against this defense. They beat the Vikings. Now they're just the best team in the universe. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. 11.5 points, man? Come on.
I don't think we've brought this term up this year. There's a couple teams that have this with the state of the league right now, but the Titans got the stink on them. The way they blew a 10-point lead last week, couldn't cover his +9 for us, +9.5, even up 10 zap. Now
we called it, Rich. You get rid of Vrabel, this is what you freaking get, okay? This is what you get.
Yeah, this is definitely reaping what you sow AF. Congrats, you won the power struggle. Now you have one of the worst teams in the league because you don't have that institutional stability like the Niners do. Trade away Nook, nobody is going to want to have anything to do with this Tennessee team. That being said, I think they're the second most popular because Jacksonville somehow has been the most popular team in the contest.
I saw that. How do people keep clicking the Jags? This is crazy. But yeah, if there's any game all year that I would actually expect people to lay double digits, it might be this one.
Yeah, because they've just been an absolute wagon. Last week getting it done against the Vikings, so we shall see. The Lone Wolves. DP's got the Lions and Steelers. I've got the Chargers and Bears. Brett has the Panthers and Bengals. And Donnie had the Chiefs and Cowboys. Time to dust ourselves off, get on our feet, and make the card.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
2 and 3 was good enough for me to get the first pick this week. I'm taking a majority pick. I'm taking a dog. I'm taking a team that honestly nobody has shit on more than myself. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles plus 2.5 on the card. Let's go Jalen. Let's go Saquon. Let's go people in the contest clicking Joe Burrow. That's really what we need. Mo, you're up next. You were also 2-3, and you've got perhaps an ultra devil side this big.
I hope so, because like I said, I still think they should be very small home favorites here. I like Washington against a Bears team that the market is excited about, and I'm definitely need to see more. Like, do it against somebody with a pulse, please. And yeah, I know they're coming off a bye, but I still think people are very excited for this Bears team after, rightfully so in some ways. Caleb is showing signs of a pulse, but Washington is going to be a much tougher test than the teams they've been playing.
Something Marcus Mariota on the card.
But please, guys,
can we just talk about
if you go ahead.
No, I was just like, can we just talk about that we get Mariota and Jameis back in football this week? What a throwback.
I didn't even think about that. No, I just wanted to tell people, please, if you are looking to, if you for some reason are crazy enough to tail us, do not bet this one until they confirm that Jaden Daniels is out. Because I know that Rich is saying, oh, well, it's already priced in, whatever. And he's like, right? But I've seen it with NBA a million times. It doesn't matter. The line still moves. Once they say they're out, people go bet, and then the line still moves.
DP is up next. And cover your ears, Mo, because this one's going to make you squeamish.
Daniel Jones on the card.
Daniel Jones.
I mean, I trust you guys. Go ahead. Have your fun.
In the pocket. Trying to secure the football against TJ.
I mean, I will say one thing we didn't really talk about that is really, really favored for the Giants. I think both starting guards are out for Pittsburgh. I mean, interior pressure, but we got to make sure Dexter Lawrence is in there. I didn't check to see if he practiced today, but if he's in there, he should absolutely murder whatever backup guards they put in there.
Brett, round us off with a man I once fell in love with, and then I fell out of love with, but I am with you this week on him and this team.
Mo isn't going to like this. It was a split game, and he had the other side in his top 5. Problem is, my number 2 pick has the same number of confidence points and is a lone wolf. So for now, I have the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson.
I personally, obviously, having picked that and have it in my top 5 as well. I'm a fan of it. Much bigger fan than the Carolina Panthers. However, Brett does have 2 other games in his top 5 that are consensus picks that we will get to perhaps in a moment, perhaps right now. Let's see what the collective
can't wait
machine.
to hear the earful ODB gives you guys.
The collective chooses
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
The first of 4 consensus picks. Although I will say consensus picks have been garbage on the season. 0-2 last week, 5-13 on the season are consensus picks, which is bizarre because lifetime we are north of the VIG. We are picking like 53% lifetime on consensus picks. So it is very distressing to see us that low. But this is a game where I absolutely love the Miami Dolphins. My knee-jerk reaction to seeing this line was, this is too high. And then the more I dug into it, the more excited I got about Miami. When I saw the clip of Tyreek Hill, like his controller shutting off and him stopping playing football last week, that actually got me excited about this week, because like, what if these guys just weren't trying, like not playing football, and now Tua Tagovailoa is back playing quarterback and they're just going to start playing football again? You heard it this week after the first day of practice. Tyreek is like, we're back playing in fantasy. Like, there was a pep in his step. Like, it seems like the Miami Dolphins have returned as a football team. And then if you go and look at the opening lines for the season, in a season where I think Arizona is kind of worse than what we anticipated because the connection between Kyler and MHJ hasn't kind of come to fruition. Guys, in the summer, Miami was a -6 in this spot. -3.5 in the contest. I think people are going to be afraid of the stink that is the Dolphins, not knowing that Tua is back. So I certainly don't think people are going to be clicking Miami. I don't think on the counter that a lot of people will have the Cardinals. So I don't think this will be leverage, but I think this will be low owned. I love the offense being back. I'm very excited about the Miami Dolphins being in our card. Seeing a lot of nodding. The second highest on these Dolphins was Mo. We both had them in the same spot. Number 2 overall. Mo, take the wheel.
Well, I'm also very excited of the Dolphins, and I already have Dolphins in my account. I think people have forgotten how good this offense was when it was real. I mean, what you said about Tyreek just made me think. I'm just going to throw an analogy out there for all the hoopers who listen to this. It's like playing pickup ball with somebody who won't pass. Yeah, you're not going to try on defense after that. Of course you're not. Why would you if you know you're not going to see the rock? That's what these Miami receivers are. People have forgotten about this offense, guys. They were shredding the league in the regular season the last couple of years, and now they're facing a dreadful defense that doesn't put any pressure on. It's funny you say that it was 6 because I still think it should be 6. That was my fare for this game. So I think I love the Dolphins in this spot. I'm ready to be hurt again by this team, guys. Another thing, this is just Arizona zigzag, like ODB was saying, right? They have a decent game last week, even though they should have lost that game. Dude, they allowed 8 yards per play to an awful passing offense in that game. What is Miami going to do to these guys?
I will say my one fear about this game, and it's a stat that I heard on the Mina Kimes show this week, is that the Dolphins defense is number 1 in rush defense at first contact, right? So they are run stuffing better than any team in the league right now. They are 32nd on rush defense after first contact. So if guys get to the second level, and the way James Conner runs, super violent, and the way Kyler Murray can escape and get down the field, that is a bit worrisome. But I just think this is just a coming out party for a Dolphins team that has just been. It's I don't know cars, but it's like the 56 Chevy that's been in the garage. You've been sitting there looking at it, and they finally can take the tarp off and get it out in the open road and get this thing going again. I mean, it sounds horrible, but Tua is not coming back from an ankle injury. He's not coming back from a shoulder injury. Like, it's his head. And I know that's awful, but he's not going to have any limitations when it comes to playing the game of football or throwing the football. So this should just be back to status quo for them. Brett, you're the lowest on the Dolphins. Any concerns here?
I think the only thing you worry about with Tua is his confidence, right? Coming back from the injury, having 17 concussions. I think that's about it. Otherwise, yeah, I think this offense should just start clicking right away.
Yeah, but if anybody knows how to come back from a concussion,
this is true.
The guy who's had about 6 of them.
Jesus. All right, we've got 3 other consensus picks that didn't make the card. Maybe one of them will be enough for Donnie and Brett to flip their awful picks to one of them. We start with Packers at Jaguars. I'm shocked that you guys also picked the Packers. I picked the Packers and I was like, these idiots are going to take the too sharp for ungood side of the week. So I'm just going to put the Packers at the bottom, let them have their fun. But you guys did the damn thing. You all clicked the Packers. It's funny, Brett, you're over there shaking your head, furrowing your brow. Donnie and Mo have the Packers in their top 5. Donnie, you nearly have them having as much confidence points as the Giants and Chiefs.
I mean, the Jaguars suck. The Packers are in a different tier than the Jaguars. They're coming back from London. They just beat a crap bag team. They still are trash. Absolute trash. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was a fake win against a bad football team. When they were over in London, they had the travel advantage. Yeah, I think this is such an obvious sell spot. The problem is, Brett, I think everybody in the contest will do the same thing because Well,
What
maybe
do you mean?
not,
The
though, because
Jaguars are
they're
always
clicking the Jags
popular.
every week. I don't
Dude,
understand.
2,500 people clicked on Green Bay last week. I mean, that's crazy.
And lost, right? So maybe they're a bit sour and they don't click Green Bay. Brett, this is your squad. You love the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I just click Packers every week because they're good and they're underappreciated. I don't know how Houston covered last week with Stroud putting up the numbers that he did. That was infuriating. But yeah, the Jags are home now, yes, but they just spent 2 weeks in London. Like, they had the travel advantage. Now, how much disadvantage do they have? Who knows how ready they'll be for this one coming off that travel. So yeah, I love the Packers in this spot.
And now they got
just
Rich's
like
guy.
Whose guy?
Your guy.
Oh, Robert Saleh was in their practice.
Yeah. Coaching the offense. That was a curveball. I didn't see that coming.
He's
I can
coaching the
understand
offense for defense, okay?
Opposing defenses, exactly. He's giving them defensive looks that they could attack against. And the one thing I also want to bring up is that the biggest deficiency with Love is that he's an idiot and has that Favre in him and turns the ball over. But just like Jalen Hurts, I don't think this is the defense to take advantage of that, because the Jags have absolutely nobody in the secondary that is ball hawking or will bring any resistance to this Green Bay passing attack. The other consensus pick that made somebody's top 5 was Brett Colson. It's Jameis week.
Dude, this is everything lining up. This checks every single possible box. This is what the Browns are supposed to be this year. Nick Chubb is back. They have a quarterback who isn't afraid to fling the ball downfield. The offensive line looks a little healthier. Could Wyatt Teller come back this week? This is so many points for the Ravens on the road, a team whose stock could not be higher. And yeah, I'm going to sell them against my Browns, especially when it's Jameis week.
Division game, home dog, lot of boxes being checked. Mo, you're laughing, but this was creeping up. This was the last game that didn't make confidence points for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a good contest play, right? I mean, the Ravens, they score 40 every week. But the Browns have actually done a good job against these divisional opponents, man. They have. And their defense, they look like they wanted to play last week, actually. Like, they did a good job against the Bengals. That being said, I'm done putting real money against the Ravens, you guys. I mean, they score 40 every week. Regular season monsters. Do it in January when Patrick Mahomes is on the other side.
Love it. And then the final consensus pick also made Brett's top 5. I forgot to give the Ravens their due sounder. We got another bird here. As the Atlanta Falcons travel also in division to Tampa to take on the BUCS, who are 2.5-point home dogs. The BUCS, who will be without everybody. WR1, WR2, RB1. And so Brett is taking the opportunity. What are you shaking
RB1. He's
your
like the 5th best running back on the team.
Sean Tucker stand? Did I find another one?
No, I just think Rachaad White's terrible.
I've been beating that drum since I was watching him last year. He is an awful runner of the football.
Yeah.
Good receiver, though. He can actually catch the ball, make moves, win downfield, and he's a good receiver, but he is awful at running the ball.
Brett, tell us why this is a great leverage spot.
That's the thing is everybody's looking at these injuries. I just feel like these injuries are a little too baked into this number for the Bucs. Obviously, Godwin, Evans matter, but I can't lay points with the Falcons on the road, divisional game. These two teams are fighting for the division. And yeah, I do think this is going to be leverage. At only 2.5, I think people are going to be on the Falcons, so I'm happy to be on the other side.
I mean, they're definitely baked in. The line was 2.5 last week.
They are baked in. I feel like it's too much.
The other
though.
way, I meant.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was the other way.
Yeah.
5-point swing. Yeah, this was the one I was the most. It's funny. I technically have this higher, but I have no confidence points outside of my top 6. But this is the one where it's the sharpest side where I can see it coming through. I was deathly afraid of Browns just because I don't know what this Jameis experiment is going to be in Cleveland, but I saw too much stiffness out of Kirk Cousins last week. I saw too much of him being uncomfortable in the pocket. And that's something I hadn't seen since week 1, right? I felt like he'd been growing into the season and been a little more comfortable and a little more fungible back there coming off the Achilles. Last week was the first week where he looked uncomfortable in the pocket. So that is ultimately why I think the BUCS is a fine side, but I'm very worried about the lack of weapons on this Tampa team. I mean, they've been kind of trying to hide McMillan, so I don't see him being able to step up and play a big role. Got Trey Palmer there, Sterling Shepard off the.
You watch it. Trey Palmer went to Nebraska.
Sterling Shepard off the trash heap. Something Cotton can only have so many 7-yard hitches. He's just the reincarnation of Jason Witten. PPR.
Can I just say, dude, somebody is going to break Cade Otton in half with these throws. I am concerned watching the BUCS play football. I get like queasy watching these throws that Baker Mayfield. How are these receivers? Do they not just sit down with him ever and show him the tape and be like, dude, don't kill me. You are going to kill me one day with these throws. This is crazy, dude. Baker is a maniac. And it's because, I mean, he's a maniac himself too. So I guess it's fine because he's not a hypocrite. But dude, he is going to get somebody murdered with the way he lays up those balls in the middle of the field.
Got Chris Godwin murdered on the most irrelevant play of the season. RIP my dynasty shares. So those are the consensus picks that didn't make anybody's card. Perhaps there will be some tinkering before the card is submitted. Mo, if there was ever a week for there to be an easy click in Survivor, it would be the week with infinite touchdown and double-digit favorites. So is there anybody that is a little less chalky than the rest of the field?
I think Chargers, probably. Because everyone used them that week they beat Carolina. So, like, that's probably the side, I think. If you have Chargers, I think it's good because you'd be staying away from what absolutely everybody else is clicking on. But, yeah, I mean, there's so many free spaces this week. I just don't even know what to say. This is the most boring week of Survivor ever. So maybe we'll see some chaos. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Chargers can cover 7.5, but they definitely should beat the Saints at home by running straight ahead. And that is all they were going to do. That game is, I mean, it just, did the Saints quit? This is a professional pride game for the Saints. Like, you either show up and act like you want to be playing pro football or just get out of the league. Because the last couple of weeks have been disgraceful from the Saints.
Sam Darnold heard those rumblings of Matthew Stafford perhaps replacing him. An absolute march by the Vikings to open up the scoring on Thursday Night Football. I believe it was Johnny Munt on the touchdown. DP, you had to have had Johnny Munt first touchdown.
Nope.
Oh, Donald.
Been too busy to bet.
Donald. Random light-skinned tight end guy plus 3,000. You didn't have him in your account?
I promise you that Donnie has had Johnny Munt before because I've seen him put that in the Discord.
It was not Johnny Munt. It was a different tight end. Josh Oliver? Or is that a receiver?
Are we? Oh, it was something Oliver.
Something Oliver is a tight end.
Okay.
Something Oliver.
Either way, that would have been in Donnie's account too.
That would have for sure. Something Oliver at plus 4,700 would have been.
No, they probably wouldn't have had it available because these books are all scum, and the odds would have been like something Oliver plus 1,800 or something absurd. Because again, all these books are scum. This is what they do.
Just to put a bow in Survivor, there's got to be some chaos coming, right? Touchdown favorites, perfect against the spread last week.
2
Every
straight
chalk
weeks
side.
of absolute rollover.
Bunch of chalk sides coming home. This is pro football, guys. Even the something rattlers of the world might be able to put together a sensible game plan and come out with a straight up victory. Follow these guys on Twitter at Brett Colson, COLLSON, at Donnie _Peters, and at Monowara, NUWWARAH. I'm at Rich T. Ryan. Absolutely need 5-0 this week. Best of luck in your betting ventures. Peace.